Welcome to Indy's Real Estate Gurus, your ultimate guide to the dynamic world of real estate in Indiana. And I'm Rick Ripma, your hardworking mortgage guy, and I've been in real estate and mortgages for over 24 years.
And I'm Ian Arnold, a loan officer on Rick's hardworking mortgage team, and we are both with Advisors Mortgage Group. Together, we'll empower you with expert advice, market trends, and successful stories from guru realtors and local experts.
Whether you're a homeowner, investor, or pro, join us as we navigate the thriving Indy real estate market.
Now get ready to unlock the doors of success, one episode at a time.
Well, we are really excited today. We have Dejania. See, I told you I wasn't going to pronounce it correctly.
It's a hard one, and the spelling doesn't help.
No, it doesn't. And I can't spell either, just so you know. So I'd misspell it also. But you are, what company are you? Give us a little background. Just tell us, where you grew up, what your life was like before real estate, kind of where you are today, and what office, what company you're with, and how you got into real estate.
Okay. I'll start off with where I grew up. I grew up in a small town in Northwest Indiana. Most people, it's Michigan City. And when I say that, people are like, oh, you're from Michigan. No. And I don't know why it's called Michigan City, but in Indiana, I'm from Northwest Indiana. I grew up there my whole life. And then I graduated high school, went to IU, got my degree in exercise science because I just knew I was going to be a coach. Athletics was my thing. I loved athletics. And then the pandemic happened shortly after graduating 2020. So I was trying to find my footing. And then I realized that real estate was something of more interest, and it was a little bit more fulfilling. So I got in property management. I liked the interaction between people. I loved the conversations you would be able to have. People saw you as their confidant. And I was like, this is almost it. It's not the it's that I want, but it's close to it. And just doing more research, and the more I found out about real estate, the more I felt like it would be a great fit for me.
Okay, so you started in
athletics,
mm-hmm. which I know is because I read your bio, and that's a big, athletics is big. So is there a certain sport that you?
Basketball. Well, I strength and condition all sports. So my internship, I worked with almost every sport, even golf, and that was a surprise because I didn't know that as a golfer you had to actually train. But I worked with all sports, but mainly basketball and volleyball.
Okay.
I still dabble in it here. They're my husband's a coach, so I help him with some of their strength.
And where does he coach?
He coaches at St. Luke's.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. And what does he coach?
Basketball. He's the fifth and sixth A-team basketball coach.
Okay. All right. And did you play basketball?
Yes, I did.
And volleyball?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Golf?
And no golf. I ran track. It was basketball, volleyball, and track. And then I did a year collegiately running track, and my body was not.
All at IU? IU
Chicago State for 1 year, and then I transferred to IU.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Is that where you met your husband?
I met him in Chicago, and then briefly, it was almost like in passing, and then we reconnected here in Indianapolis after he graduated.
It's weird how that happens.
It is.
It is very weird how that happens. So you grew up in Michigan City, which I knew was in Indiana.
Okay.
Just so I knew that because we drive up to Michigan a lot because we have family up there. So you live there. Are your parents still there? Your family still there? Or?
My mom actually moved to Detroit.
Okay.
But the rest of my family, aunts, uncles, and grandparent is in Michigan City on my mom's side, and on my dad's side, they're in Lansing, Michigan.
Okay. So you're all from up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That Midwest. We're real Midwesterners.
Yeah, which is great. So how long have you been in Indianapolis?
5 years now.
All right. So you got here. You've been here 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
You became a real estate agent after you were in athletics, and then you were in property management. That was one I could not remember. Is property management? That's ridiculous. So you're in property management, and was that in like apartments or what were you?
It was apartments.
Okay.
Property management. So I worked at an apartment complex off of 86 in Michigan, and then I took a step up and started working luxury apartments in Westfield.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. My sister-in-law did that for Hart.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was working for a Barrett and Stokely.
Okay. Yeah, she liked it. It was a good
It
job.
is.
Yeah, it's a good job. And it's a great training ground for a real estate agent.
That's what my mindset was. Growing up, I knew I wanted to be successful, and I never really knew what the path was going to be, but I knew that no matter what, because as my grandmother would tell me, you have to start from the bottom up. You want to know all layers of the business that you're in. So I knew property management, or I felt like I knew property management would give me the foundation that I needed to go into real estate.
Your grandma was very wise. She's accurate. That's very accurate.
Good to know.
Yeah,
Good to know.
very wise. So then you moved into real estate, and you didn't have a huge following here of people that you knew. Your
No.
sphere. How did you get going in real estate? It's tough.
It is really tough. So I got my real estate license about a year ago, going on 2 years now. And I will say that that is one of the biggest focal points of my business now and probably forever, is to work on building that network of people, because without people, you don't have the business.
Right.
And athletics, that's my safe space. That's my comfort zone. So with my husband training and coaching, I meet their parents, have those conversations.
Okay. Yes.
And that's kind of how I introduce myself as a real estate agent or a realtor in Indianapolis these days.
Yeah. Oh, that makes total sense, because you have to have that sphere of influence, and those people are the people you know, and then you can expand out from them because they know people. And your social media, you said you're in that. You're not doing as much as you want to do. You have bigger goals
being
in
a
that.
new mom is that's another job that you try to figure out how to handle life outside of that.
Yeah. So how old is your baby?
She will be 1 on December 1st. So
Oh, wow.
11 months right now.
Yeah. So have you been able to juggle
How fluently are we talking about juggle? It's a juggle. It's just not a pretty juggle.
Yeah. We aren't dropping the baby, are you?
No, not the baby, real estate.
It is especially at that age, and I have two. I have a 6 and 8 year old. It is tough to try to juggle all that stuff. So I give you props. I mean, it just takes time. And
This year is my rebuild. I've taken this year to work on rebuilding, kind of send some things in place, getting some plans together for going into the next year. So that's my focus for this year, and has been for this year.
And so how did you, when you got into real estate, how did you pick where you're working? What was is it the same office you're in today, or did you switch?
So I did switch. When I first got into real estate, I did know someone who worked at Highgarden.
Okay.
But I didn't want to. I wanted to kind of get out there on my own. I'm just that type of person. I want to do something on my own. And then I found a smaller brokerage. I'm used to the family-owned, small time things. And I was like, okay, this will be great. So I worked with a Realty One group for a minute, and then I recently just transitioned into Highgarden.
Okay. So why did you pick Highgarden?
So when I was property managing or in property management, there was a real estate agent there, and she just raved about how she loves their resources and the help and the people there. And I wanted to see for myself what the hype was about.
Are you finding that's the case?
It absolutely is the case. And I love that the people there will hold you accountable. If you say you are going to do something, you have people calling or texting and checking in to see like, hey, how's it going? What's the progress? This is what we talked about you doing. Are you doing it?
Okay. So you have basically coaches.
Pretty much. The whole office is an office full of coaches.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. It's a great support
system.
Well,
we found, Ian and I, with all the interviews that we've done with top agents, that to a person, that's part of what made them successful, is they had the proper support system, mostly coaches and mentors who really brought them along and held them accountable to do the things they needed to do. So of those people, like I don't want you to just pick out one, but what are they doing, and who's like your go-to mentor, and why?
So, that's a tough one. I would say my go-to mentor is Kim. She is the one who onboarded me. That was who I first met with. Super fun, lighthearted personality. I love everything about her. But that's not to say that nobody else in the office is helping, because everyone is willing to offer a helping hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that one, especially as a new person coming into the business, having those coaches, having people to basically hold you accountable is huge. I mean, just think about you're on your own business basically.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think when a lot of real estate agents become real estate agents, they don't realize how much of a business that is.
Yeah.
So
I was one of those. I was one of those. It was definitely a culture shock.
So what made it such a culture shock?
So I came from, I thought that it would be an easy transition because I was a server at one point in time. So that's a small business within your business. You have to manage things. You have to multitask. But up until that point, I wouldn't consider myself a creative. And I feel like to be a real estate agent, you also have to have a creative side to you when it comes to marketing, different ways of networking, different ways of prospecting. And that was probably the toughest thing for me to get into. Now, everything else, I mean, I'm good with balls to the wall. Let's make it happen. I thrive in chaos and stress and under those situations. But it was definitely, you're legitimately out here on your own. And this is all on you to either make it happen or be the reason it fails.
Yeah. Well, you definitely in this business, the same with mortgages. So it's been my whole career. I've always been you make it or fail on your own. It's very much like athletics. I can see why somebody in athletics would pick it.
Yes. I equate real estate to being on the track team, where each sport or each event individually, the success is up to that individual person. However, the brokerage, the team, your success contributes to the success of the team or the brokerage.
That's actually a very good analogy because I did track and everything too.
Oh, you did.
Fantastic analogy.
Thank you.
Yeah, and it sounds like you're at the right type of place that does that. They see it as everybody's doing their thing, but everybody's there rooting you on and helping you and guiding you.
Exactly.
And I think it's critical when you're brand new or fairly new, when you're learning, that you have people there who you can go to if there's any issues. Because in real estate, I'm sure you've already found this, we had a guy that been in real estate for 52 years. He still ran into things he needed help on.
Yes.
So it's always that way. It helps to have that support. It's not a help. It's critical to have that for your own self, but also for your customers, don't you think?
I feel like with that, you have to be a sponge. And I feel like I am a sponge. With no matter what you do, if you're not a sponge, you're going to miss something. The world is constantly evolving. New techniques, new technology, new information is always being introduced. So you have to be willing to receive that information to be able to be the best you can be for your clients.
Yeah. So you mentioned mentors earlier. So I want to go back to this. So what is one good advice one of your mentors have given you?
Whatever you put your name on, you want to make sure you do it to the best of your ability because your reputation is all that you have.
Yeah, in real estate especially, reputation, and it's the reputation that you have that gets out there that matters greatly. Mm-hmm. It also makes it just makes a huge difference when people see you, and you're congruent. I don't know if that's the right word, but everything you do is, they know you're honest and they can tell because of everything is congruent
brand
in
that
you.
You're putting out into the world actually matches up with the person who you are, and it's not two different images.
It's not Facebook.
Yeah.
I heard on the radio, it was on a podcast I was listening to, and I guess you can now rent an airplane, a jet, and all it does is sit on the tarmac, and you go and you get ready for 20 minutes and take pictures of yourself in this
like you're
jet
flying
plane.
A private jet.
Yes.
Wow. I mean, I knew social media had taken a turn for the worse. I mean, it's a double-edged sword. I knew there were some people using it to front a lifestyle, but not to that extent.
Yeah, I didn't either. I was shocked.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And that's what you don't want. You want to be there. And, we're really real estate is really it's really not you're not real estate. It's a relationship business.
Yes.
And that's really what you have to be good at.
That's actually one of my business goals each year, is to connect and build a genuine relationship with 3 people. I don't want to really do more than 3 because then you get into ingenuine relationships. But 3 people a year I want to meet, build relationships on a personal level. Now, if that turns into a business relationship, great. But I just want to build a great group of people to be around and have
a great goal.
Yeah, that's the goal. That's how I lead my real estate business.
That's a great goal.
So if somebody's wanting to get in that connection group with you and be one of those 3 people, what's the best way they can get a hold of you?
By phone, preferably text, but if you call, I'll return your call. My phone number is 219-210-8613.
What was that number again?
219-210-8613.
I can't remember, so I always have to ask. I always have to have you repeat it a couple times so I can remember. And to get a hold of Ian or I, go to hardworkingmortgageguys.com. That's hardworkingmortgageguys.com. You can contact us from there, or you can give us a call at 317-672-1938. That's 317-672-1938. That is a call, no text. Can't text that number. We won't get it. It's an office phone. Daggone it.
Hey, it's all right. You'll get through this.
Yeah, I will.
All right. So we're going to take a side step.
Okay.
All right. So we know about the real estate. We know about the baby. I know that takes up a lot of your time.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you do for fun?
Fun is being back in the gym. So if I'm not at home real estate working, I'm usually in the gym either working out myself with my husband and daughter, or he's coaching and I help him coach a little bit here and there. I'm an honorary assistant coach, so I'm not the official assistant coach, but I go in and help out with this team from time to time.
All right. So I got to ask, because my wife was a personal trainer for the longest time, and then she got out of it because she wanted something different, more reliable people. All right. But how do you do it? Do you take the kid to the gym with you, or how do you?
Yes, she is, because she's walking now. So we have
a daughter.
Yeah.
Not a kid.
It's a kid.
We have we bought her a pink ball, but she's really self-sufficient. So a lot of the time she'll just run around, not kick the ball, but push the ball around. But some of the time she's in our arms, but she's there right along with us, taking everything in.
Yeah, we can't do it. My wife and I used to go to the gym together, but once we had kids, now she just goes on her own. And I'm not a big gym person.
So this was great. Oh, I'll watch the kids, honey. Go
Yep.
ahead. I'll stay home.
Hey, that's me.
Yeah, that's I started with a personal trainer a couple of years ago, and it's very, very helpful to have a personal trainer, because they know what to do. They watch you, make sure you do everything correctly.
And all of your reps, do not cheat.
Yes, they do. I'm pretty sure he can't count very well, because I count them different than he does many times.
So is it the user or is it the trainer?
I'm sure it's a trainer.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure it couldn't be me.
Not at all.
No way.
You can count, not spell. So
That's right. I'm in finance. I'm good at numbers. That's something I'm good at. And he actually is becoming a real estate agent.
Really?
He started. He had a guy sponsor him, and he's just started a few months ago. So
I wish I would have known about a sponsor at the beginning. That was probably another shock. The launch to get into real estate, I had no idea the fees and the time and the cost to start the real estate journey.
Yeah. So let's actually talk about that a little bit. I like to hear what people have learned. So what do you mean by getting a sponsor? And do you know about how to get one
I do not. Everything I did on my own. Mm-hmm. It was something that I set my mind to. I researched it. I guess not good enough, because I didn't figure out that I could get a sponsor. But I researched it to the best of my ability, and I kind of just went for it. I knew it was something that I wanted. I set my eyes on that, and I went after it and made it happen.
So besides your test, what else do you have to put money up for?
So you have to put money up for your test, the class itself, and depending on what avenue you take to get your real estate license, the cost can be higher or lower. Then you have your MyBoard fees. So you want to have access to all of the property listings, so you have to pay that. And then they have their own separate technology fees, and you come out of about a couple $1,000s at the beginning.
Yeah, and you need all that.
You do.
It's not like you can do your job without it.
Do I have to pay for this? No, you have to pay.
You gotta have it. It used to be you had to buy the books. Now you just have to pay technology fees.
Yes.
My board figured out they couldn't, if they aren't going to get the book fees, they better get some other fee. They must have probably figured that out from colleges.
Yes, because a lot of colleges are moving to electronic books now.
Yeah, and they can charge you for everything.
They can automatically charge you. My sister is a senior at IU right now, and she was saying that some of the book charges are automatic. So you don't even get to choose if you want to buy the book or use a friend's book. They automatically charge it to your bursar.
Yeah, that's anyway.
That's topic for another day.
That is. I'm glad all my boys they all went through IU. They're all graduated.
Go Hoosiers.
My wife went to IU too. Now me, I didn't go. But what would you say your superpower or superpowers are?
My superpower would be my ability to connect with people on a personal level. I feel like I have this natural knack to put myself in other people's shoes, to understand their concerns and needs. And that allows me to build great genuine relationships with people. So I would say that is my main superpower. My other superpower is just being honest, but pleasantly honest, because that is a skill. Being honest is one thing, but you have to be pleasantly honest, because some people don't know how to take the honesty in some situations.
Yeah, that's very true. I was listening to this rabbi, and I really like this rabbi, and his name escapes me right now, but he was talking about that, and he was talking about it is okay at times not to be honest. Mm-hmm. Okay, and he explained why, based on biblical principles, and the Ten Commandments, why he would say this. Mm-hmm. And so, but he was talking about basically the same thing. You have to, when you're honest, but you got to be nice about it. It's got to be. I found, and maybe I'm not nice about it. I found that everybody, I'm a straight shooter.
Yes.
And everybody says, "Oh, I love straight shooters."
I think they say that because it sounds good.
Yeah.
But when they really run into a straight shooter, it's like,
I found they don't really like it.
No. No.
But I'm much better today at being a little bit more. Yeah, it's all about education and growth. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think with the straight shooter thing is nobody likes the bad news right then. Mm-hmm. Now, a day later, they might be thinking, "Well, I'm glad he told me that and gave me solutions to get away or through it or whatever the issue is." Mm-hmm. But because you and I are both the same ways, we just tell people how it is, and
matter of fact.
Yep. Now we try to cushion it, but
we're in sales.
Yeah. But we got to tell people, "Hey, look, your credit's not good enough. All right, what are we going to do now to get it better or whatnot?" So.
And I think that makes the biggest difference when you're dealing with a client and you say, "Hey, you can't afford this house based on this information." When you give them solutions, I think that helps. You have some people who are honest where it's like, "Nope, you can't do this and this is why," and just leave it at that. That stings a little bit more than, "Hey, this is where we're at and this is why we can't do this, but this is what we can do to get you closer to that goal."
Yes. I have found basically exactly what you're saying. It's so much easier to give bad news if you have a solution for the bad news. Yes. Right?
That can't be the end of the bad news can't be the end of the conversation.
Yeah. Like for us, one of the biggest issues is it can be, bad news. They can't, like you said, they don't qualify. Mm-hmm. Right? But then it's why don't they qualify? And how do you, like you said, how do you get them there? Ian he's an expert at getting their credits up. Right. Mm-hmm. So if somebody has credit issues, Ian knows how to do that, and he works at it, and he does that for a lot of people. And it isn't that you have to even have bad credit, but sometimes you can look at it and go, okay, well, if they're at, let's say, a 680 credit mm-hmm. score, but you can get them over 700, they get a much better rate. Well, how do we do that? While they're looking for houses, right?
Exactly.
You work on that kind of thing. So those kind of things matter to people, but I do find that's a lot easier. How do you handle? Let's say you have an inspection issue. Okay. So the house has an inspection issue. Now you got to deliver this news either to the buyer or the seller. I don't know. It depends on who you're. Because it's bad news to both people.
To both, yes.
Yeah.
So let's say it's the seller. Matter of fact, this is what the inspection report turned up. We have this. We can either fix it, and we can still get the buyers in. We can still move forward with this closing. Or you cannot, and you can choose to stay in your home. But matter of fact is this is an issue. So it's better for you to know this now so you can address it whether you decide to continue with the sale or stay here. But you want to get this taken care of because in the long run, it's going to help you whether you want to sell this house or live in it.
Right. And the reality is on an inspection issue is once it's discovered, you have to acknowledge it to everybody who looks at your house.
Exactly.
So it doesn't go away.
It's not like you can sweep under the rug.
No, that doesn't happen. So it is critical that they understand it. I think it's brilliant too that you're making sure they understand that you're going to have to do it no matter what. So you might as well just take it. We got a deal right now.
Yeah.
You're going to have to pay for it anyway. Right. And so you might as well do it. And if you stay in the home, you're still probably going to want
this taken care of.
Right. Whatever it is, it's usually, as long as sometimes people get a little picky, and I know that, but as long as it's a major issue, it's just one of those things. That's what happens to a house. And you just got to take care of it. Mm-hmm. So I agree. I think it's critical. I also think it's very helpful if you can let them remember why they're selling their house. Mm-hmm. You kind of alluded to that so, you can do this. Let's say you can not do this, and they can go away. But now you can't go live where your grandparents and your grandkids are. You can't relocate. You can't go to their games. You can't do.
And then you ask them, do you want to? Is this the path you want to take? And do you want to stay here and say forget all of this, of the work you put in to get to this point, or do you want to take that extra step? No, it wasn't planned, but necessary to get to where you were wanting to go.
So one of your superpowers is education. Now I'm picking up.
Yes, that is another one of my superpowers. I hone in on educating people, whether you want to work with me, whether you are in the home buying process, or if you just want to know information. I like to connect with people and give them the pieces that they need to move forward.
Yeah, because you educate them, and now they can make an educated decision. Mm-hmm. You don't make the decision for them.
No.
And absolutely. I noticed that with your whole answer was never about, here's what you do. You gave them the information so they can make the decision that they feel is best for them.
Yes. Secretly it's because I don't want to ever be to blame for something that you decided to do. Because if I go in and I say, no, you need to do X, Y, and Z, and the buyers for whatever reason pull out the end, they're like, well, you told me I needed to fix this, and now they're not buying the house. Whoa. No, I gave you options. This is the option that you chose. Now, if you want to get another buyer, we can work on that. That's the next step. Right. We just have to keep looking forward. And I'm a forward thinker. We can't stay stagnant.
I think that's the right way.
No, I fully agree. I mean, just like Rick and I, we give people options. And when I first came in, Rick's like, hey, look, this is the way I do it. So I think I recommend you should do it that way. And just give people options, because you could think one way. Mm-hmm. And just for instance, somebody could tell me right now, hey, I want the lowest interest rate. But then I show them the price, their payment difference with lowest cost or for a little higher rate and stuff. And they choose something totally different than what they even anticipated because they didn't know all the facts.
Exactly.
By giving them all the options, it's the right way to do it. So when you do go through these hurdles and everything, and you lay out options for them, I mean, do they normally choose an option and they don't just like kick you to the curb, right?
I don't think I've ever been kicked to the curb, but I don't want to be too confident.
No.
It could have been a time I've kicked to the curb, but no, like I said, I find I'm learning and I'm still perfecting the way to present the information in a way where you don't feel cornered. Yep. You don't want your client to feel backed into a corner. This is an open conversation, and this is how we can handle it. And I'm going to offer you some solutions. And once you decide these are the end goals. Like, I'm a transparent person. That's probably one thing that will never change. You're not going to have to guess. There's not going to be an ulterior motive or a crazy drawn out end game. This is where we are. This is where we're going. This is how we're going to get there. Yeah.
Well, the reason I bring that up is because, let's be honest, nobody likes delivering bad news. So some people like to be like, oh, well, I don't want to, keep holding off giving them. No, give them the bad news, but give them options.
Exactly.
And like, what the worst thing they can do, let's be honest, is kick you to the curb. But like you said, nobody's kicked you to the curb. So they like the options. Give them options.
And if they do, I would even go as far as to say, hey, if this is not something that you think you want to do, I can definitely hook you up with another real estate agent if you feel like you can be better helped by somebody else. That doesn't hurt my feelings at all. At the end of the day, the goal is to get the client what they need. And if I'm not giving that to you, then who am I to hold you back and to stop you from getting to your end goal?
Yeah. So let's help you get to your end goal. So what are you trying to do to boost your business in, like, say, the next 4 or 5 years?
Next 4 or 5 years. So I am starting an education series. I feel like, yes, I think I'm considered a millennial. So you would think social media is like my go-to thing, the TikTok, the Reels. But I want to approach it on a more educational basis where the information I'm giving is strongly evidenced communication to buyers, sellers, and investors. So when you go to my TikTok or you go to my Instagram or you go to my Facebook, you can sit and get that information that you need to take the next steps, whether you're working with another real estate agent or not. I just want you to have the information because I don't want people to, it's kind of if you knew better, you do better. So I want people to do better.
Yeah. You know, it's funny because what you're saying lines up with why we're doing the show. You know, that's exactly why we do the show. We just want to help out the industry, right? We want to help people do better. And we know, as you probably know, is you do that in some way, somehow it all comes back. You don't have to worry about it. It's just how life is.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't go into things with this. I want to make money. My money should be the result. It shouldn't be the motivator.
Okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
That's how I approach my business.
Yeah. And that way it's never about the money for you. So you never put the money in front of the customer, which there are people who do that. Fortunately, not that many, but that's a really bad thing when they put money ahead of their client.
Yeah. Because now you are limiting their options and you're not leading with what they want in mind. You're leading with your wants and needs.
Yeah. You got to worry about others. That's just the way it is.
Well, so I want her to worry about others.
Go ahead.
But she needs to talk to others.
She does.
I do.
What's the best way somebody get in contact with you?
The best way to get in contact with me would be by phone. My phone number is 219-210-8613. Should I repeat that?
Yes, please.
All right.
Please.
Again, that number is 219-210-8613.
And to get a hold of Ian or I, go to hardworkingmortgageguys.com. That's hardworkingmortgageguys.com. Or you can give us a call at 317-672-1938. That's 317-672-1938. That's a call, not a text.
Good job.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right. So we ask this question all the time. So the question of the week, are you ready?
I don't know.
You will be stumped. It's a hard one. What was your first car?
My first car was a Buick Rendezvous.
Oh.
Yeah. It was given to me, or not given. I bought it from my cousin, and it lasted all of 2 seconds. And
What happened to it?
So when I got it originally, the fuel line, I think they said the fuel line. So I went back home. I was on Christmas break, wintertime. I go home, I buy the car, I go to drive back. And no, it wasn't working. So I actually had to miss class at the beginning of the semester before I could actually bring the car on. It probably lasted a semester and half a summer, and it was done for.
Boy, they sold you a lemon. That was not nice.
But it was a lesson. That lemon was a lesson.
That's true.
So
how lemonade out of it?
Hold on. You're missing the whole point. So how do family reunions happen now? Is it a little hostile or?
No, because I'm transparent. So I addressed that right away. We're going to get this out of, hey, this car you sold me, I did pay for it. I didn't do my due diligence, but you also should know that this was the condition that the car was in. Now it's up to you. Either you want to rectify it or we can move forward, but it is what it is. I can't harp on that. You got to move on.
Yeah. We years ago, my wife and I gave her sister a car. Okay. And it was a Honda Accord. It was a good car, but it had been sitting a while. So there was something happened immediately, and she had to have it fixed. Now we gave her the car.
Okay.
Gave it to her. Who do you think paid to have it fixed?
You. Yeah. See, I bought the car and I paid to have it fixed. It should have been a reduction of sales price or something along that line.
Yeah. But you've learned a lot since then.
I've definitely learned a lot, and one thing is I stay away from used cars. Because even sometimes the owners don't know. And that's true. I give people the benefit of the doubt. I put myself in your shoes where maybe this was working for you whenever you were driving it and you had no idea. So I'm not going to assume that you did this with bad intentions.
You got to think your cousins didn't do it intentionally.
Yeah.
You know, they knew you were. Unless they were Ian. Is your cousin Ian?
No, I'll say this. Rick and I both came from the car industry before we got in mortgages. But the funny thing is I almost I had one bad incident selling one to one of my close friends that I refused from then on. I'm not selling to friends and family.
Yeah,
because it comes back on you and they think everything. I'm like, no. I'm not doing this.
It gets real sticky. I'll stick to going to the dealership to get my cars.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what would you say your daily grind looks like for being a real estate agent and a mom? That has to be a lot going on in your life.
So daily grind, are you saying task wise or how I prioritize?
Yeah. How do you prioritize the things that you need to get done?
I don't. I'm going to tell you, I flip a coin.
Oh, do you?
It's pretty much like a flip of a coin. It's like, okay, she's down for a nap.
Okay.
You can either you can clean or you can research a neighborhood. All right, flip the coin. Let the coin decide. And then I do a lot of work late at night though. So once she's down about 8 o'clock, then that's usually my real estate grind. During the day, it's kind of mommy and wife duties. But at night, that's when I really grind it out with real estate. I have my phone always ready, but nighttime is when it's quiet. My husband isn't needing anything. She's not needing anything. And I can just play some music and focus.
Well, he probably does a lot of coaching at night, right?
He does, or he's on the game. So they don't coach. I mean, he doesn't practice super late into the evening, but by the time he comes home, like, what do I need to do to get you wrapped up? Food, family, fun. All right, you're good to go. She's good to go. Yeah. Now I can have my me time.
So you actually have a plan.
It doesn't always go.
No.
But there is a plan. There is a plan in place.
That's what matters. You got a plan, whether it happens or not.
Now, I will say this. The one thing that I think a lot of real estate agents have had that helped them, and even Rick and I, is time blocking.
Yeah.
So if I got to recommend anything, time blocking is a huge thing. And trust me, I understand it's tough because, oh, wait, I got a call from school. I got to go pick up the kids. They're sick. Well, there goes my time block. But
you got to be flexible.
Yes.
That's one thing I've learned, just being a parent. You have this idea in your mind of what the day is going to look like, what the week's going to look like. And it's okay if it doesn't go according to plan because life is a living plan.
That's right.
It is not solid. It's very fluid, and you just have to be able to maneuver it.
Well, if you do any time blocking, what I have found is most people underestimate the time it's going to take to do something.
Okay.
So don't underestimate that. To overestimate it,
and then have some extra time.
Then you have the extra time to do the other things. But most people. I guess I shouldn't say that. I tend to underestimate how long it's going to take. I think I can get on the computer in 15 minutes. I can have this thing done, right?
Yeah.
And it's 45 minutes later.
And oh, now we're into my next time block to do something else, and everything gets pushed back. Yeah,
that's exactly right.
So I do like to hear stories.
Okay.
So what do you think one of your most memorable transactions or customers have been?
My most memorable, I would have to say it was the first open house that I did, and it was actually for another agent. I did the open house. I just wanted to kind of get my feet wet, and it's quiet at open houses. So this is perfect to get some heads down working. And I had a sister and a brother come in. Their mother lived down the street, and they really, really wanted the open house that I was at. But they couldn't get it. They applied interest, credit, all of those things just did not line up for them. But I was able to circle back months later and put them in a situation because she ended up getting married. So she's not living with her brother anymore. She's getting married. And I was able to put them in a situation where they were able to sell the now husband's house and buy a home in the same neighborhood. So it wasn't the same house, but I just loved, again, providing a solution that still worked within your dream, worked within what you wanted. And it circled back and ended up being somebody that I stay connected with.
Yeah. So you did a good job of follow-up and staying in touch. And they ended up, the very first open house that you did, you ended up selling the house from it.
Yes.
Good job. That's phenomenal.
Yes.
That's not, agent, a lot of new agents struggle a lot. you did what you were supposed to do, and
Well,
you
I
got to
didn't-
feel good.
well,
I know it wasn't right away.
It wasn't my sale, but it feels like my sale. Because
Yeah.
at that time,
You still did it.
Yeah, I still did
Yeah,
it.
you still did it.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, you need to contact this person. They'll be able to help you. Because I was pregnant at the time. So it was like, I'm not even going to, and that's another thing. I'm not going to put myself in a situation where I cannot complete the task. I would love to help you. This would be great. But I'm 8 months pregnant. This baby can come anytime. Work with this person. They are great. They're going to get you taken care of.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the nice thing, especially working with Highgarden and stuff, is you got the whole team to help you out in case you need something.
Yes, exactly. So that's probably my most memorable transaction on the positive side.
So what would you say? Let's say there's maybe for a client. Let's say for a client, what do you think the myths or misconceptions of what a real estate agent does? What do you think those are in the mind of a client?
So on the buyer end, I would say the biggest misconception is that they have to pay us to being able to use a real estate agent. I actually just had a client who said, hey, I would like to work with you. I want to move by this date. How much do I have to pay you? And I'm like, you don't have to pay me anything. You just let me know that you want my help, and we'll do the things necessary to get you to that dream home. But this is you're not hiring me, so to speak. You don't have to pay me a fee for my time and my education and my information.
Right, your knowledge.
I'm just here to help you. And now on the end, I'm transparent where whatever fee that does come out, it'll come out the closing. It'll come out at the end, but you don't have to pay me $20 an hour to work with me. You're not paying me to take you on a home visit. So on the buyer end, your agent usually comes at no cost to you.
Right. That may change.
That
may change, but
right now,
but it's still, that's the way it is right now. And it's, to me, it just makes total sense. You're selling somebody else's house. You may have the buyer, but you're still selling somebody else's house. That's the sale.
That's the sale, not you. I'm not selling you.
Right.
And I feel like that also helps keep agents authentic when trying to find a buyer a home, where I'm not in a rush to just get you in a home, or I'm not trying to extend this and elongate. If this house is the house that you wanted, I'm not going to keep stringing you along so that you can keep paying me more money or increase the fee that I'm charging. No, I just want to find you your right home. And if it's in the second home that we look at, then great. This was a quick, easy process. But if it takes 6 months, then okay, like, let's get ready for the grind.
Right. Yep.
So on the misconception thing, I'm kind of curious. Did you have any misconceptions when you were like, hey, I think I want to do real estate, and then when you got into it that you learned, oh, it's not that way?
Everything. I misconstrued everything. I had this fairy tale idea of what real estate was going to be. And I think a lot of new agents do. And I was ready for the grind, but I didn't know what that grind really looked like. And I had never been accountable for my own time. So that was probably like, okay, you have to make yourself sit down and do these cold calls, or you have to make yourself sit down and make time for the prospecting and the marketing and all of those things. I didn't know it was that self-sufficient.
Yeah, it is very. And you know, I don't know. I've always been in sales my entire life, so I don't know for sure, but I think most jobs are that way. You may have somebody telling you what to do, but the reality is you just have to do what you're supposed to do. Yes. And I've had big teams. I've had, I've spent 11 years with a new home builder, had, a bunch of salespeople, and you can guide them and you can help them, but only you can make yourself do what it is you're supposed to do. And I'm sure it's the same way in sports.
Yes.
Right?
Which is why I feel like as much of a shock, it wasn't something that took me long to get adjusted to, because self-discipline is key in sports and self-discipline is key in real estate. Yeah. If you're not disciplined to get the work done, your business is not going to be successful. Yeah, it's not going to go anywhere. My tagline's been for years, the hard working mortgage guy, right? So, hard work is what I believe in. And it does amaze me how many people, I think many of the people who don't make it, not everybody, but many of the people who don't make it just didn't really work. And that's what it is. Or it inconsistent.
Yes.
So along with hard work, you have to work hard consistently.
Yes.
It's almost like going to the gym. All of my analogies would be related to sports, but you start your workout maybe January 1st, and you think that by January 30th, you're going to see results, when no, the results are happening internally right now. It might not be 3 to 6 months or 6 to 12 months down the line where you start to see those physical changes that you were in the gym looking for, but you just have to trust the process and know that it's working.
Yeah, it's amazing in how much it will actually do, because I've gone from I do stretching and I go to the gym and I have the trainer and I work out in the morning by myself and I've gone from barely being able to reach down and pick something off the ground to one day I was in the gym. He was having me walk stairs with a weight and I came down the stairs and my towel fell off and I leaned down, picked it up, and I started to walk up and he started laughing.
And you didn't even notice
I didn't even notice it. I just leaned down and picked it up. And I was really worried that I wasn't going to be able to continue to live in the house we live in because I didn't know if I was going to be able to walk up and down the stairs. I don't have that worry anymore at all.
I'm happy to hear that.
It makes all the difference. I partly tell you that because I think people need to know. I thought it was old age.
No.
It's not. It's lack of use. Just what you were saying. You got to get out there, and it takes time.
It does take time.
You know, you don't go work out, and the first day you're able to do everything.
And you can't work out a week and then not for 2 weeks and then come back for 3 days, and those results just will never be there.
Yeah, it'd be like a farmer deciding a week before harvest that he's going to plant his field, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, it does. Wait, no.
Wait, no, you're from Florida. You don't know anything about farming. Your parents are up there in farming.
All right, but I want your connections to grow. So, I heard you had to make cold calls. Nobody likes making cold calls. So I want you to get a warm call. So what's the best way somebody can get a hold of you? The
best way would be by phone or text. And my phone number is 219-210-8613. Again, my number is 219-210-8613. I look forward to your call.
Perfect. And if you want to get a hold of Ian or I, go to hardworkingmortgageguys.com. That's hardworkingmortgageguys.com. You can get all our information there. Or you can call us at 317-672-1938. That's 317-672-1938. And follow us for more Indy's Real Estate Gurus.
A reminder, if you have any friends, family, coworkers looking to buy, sell, refinance, let us know. We'll be more happy to help you.
You have a great ending to your phone number. 1938. That's a great drink.
It is. It is a great drink.
Well, 1738, but 19 is close enough.
Close enough. We'll change the name of the drink.
Yeah.
Then people remember my phone number better.
They will. They would.
Yeah.
That's the way they helped memorize my kid's name. You name him Remy, everybody thinks, oh, did you name your kid after Remy Martin? No.
That's a good drink, too.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a question for you guys. What's your drink of choice, whether it be mixed cocktail or straight? Do you drink? And if you do, what is your drink of choice?
Ian doesn't drink, I'm guessing.
I don't really drink.
Okay. And if I'm going to, my drink of choice is an old fashioned.
Okay.
Rye old fashioned.
Ooh, that's a strong drink.
That's, for the old fashioned guy, gets the old fashioned.
Now, I don't drink very often,
but
but that is by far my, if I go out and that's what I'd order. How about you?
Mine is the lemon drop.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, lemon drop martini. Lemon drop martini. Yeah. I stay away from bourbon. Serving had a interesting accident, so definitely not rye. I had no idea what I was doing.
I got into whiskey and rye years ago and learned all about it and everything else. I bartended too for 5 years, but I was really into that, But now I just really don't have much interest in drinking. But if I'm going to drink, it'll be old fashioned.
All right. I hate to cut you short, but thank you for coming on our show. And we look forward to hearing how your story grows and how much of a guru you become in the near future.
Thank you. I appreciate you for having me. And hopefully once that does take off, I'll come back on and tell you all about it.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Branch NMLS number 33041. Rick Ritten's NMLS number 664589. Ian Arnold's NMLS number is 1995469. Equal housing opportunity. Some restrictions apply.